It is said, on May 11th, 1904, the proud parents of a baby boy named their child Salvador, because he was the chosen one who would come to save painting from the deadly menace of abstract art, academic surrealism, dadaism, and any kind of ism whatsoever. From this day forth, Salvador Dali was destined for greatness. In the golden age of trade in Catalonia, Spain, grew a boy who some days wanted to be a female chef and other days dreamed of being Napoleon. But, as it turned out, he shall be neither. He shall be a painter, artist, and his career began at age 6. In 1938, the International Surrealist Exhibition opened. The month of January in Paris, and Salvador is there. Surrealism was a cultural crusade in which artists depicted illogical and unnerving scenes that allowed expression of the unconscious mind. At this point, Salvador Dali is knee-deep in the surrealist movement in which he dabbled. Soon after, he has the honor of meeting his idol, Sigmund Freud. Freud had this to say after meeting Dali.
I was inclined to think that the surrealists who appear to have taken me as their patron saint were absolute fools. The young Spaniard with his innocent, fanatical eyes and his undeniable technical mastery has prompted me to assess this differently.
After meeting Freud, he found himself in New York preparing for his next exhibition when a department store, Bonwit Teller, asked him to dress one of its windows. He obliged. Large crowds of onlookers blocked the street to see. Fearful of the backlash from the artist's bold work, management removed the main features of the display, to which Dali replied by entering the window, tipping over a bathtub which was part of his display, and breaking the window as well as drenching the observers. Dali was soon arrested. Though the judge called it excessively violent, he also contended that every artist has the right to defend his work to the limit. Despite his antics, or in lieu of them, his upcoming exhibition sold 21 of his pieces for over $25,000. Although his stance was America is now the only country that enjoyed an unusual degree of liberty, he did return to Europe. He pronounced, "For where one may dialogue with open scissors in one's hand, there is a healthy flesh to cut and liberty for all sorts of famines." Unfortunately, Europe, to which I was returning, was already exhausted with its masturbatory and sterile self-refinement. It was shortly hereafter that he created the work I am examining. The piece is oil on canvas, about 50 by 65 centimeters, and currently resides in the Salvador Dali Museum in St. Petersburg, Florida. As we clearly see in old age, adolescence, infancy, the 3 ages. Dali was forever questing for the secrets of images both visible and invisible. Just 2 years after meeting with Freud, Salvador Dali wants nothing more to do with the surrealists and goes so far as to say, "The difference between the surrealist and me is that I am a surrealist." It is a nod to another of his famous quotes where he declares, "The sole difference between me and a madman is the fact that I am not mad." Though not mad, he soon finds himself fearful for the safety of his wife and himself with the emergence of the Second World War. He is implored to leave Europe and returns once again to the United States, this time for the next 8 years. Dali believed not in revolution, neither communist nor national socialist. He felt himself anti-historical and apolitical. He was not sure if he was ahead of his time or far behind, but never contemporaneous with the ping-pong playing men. The Spanish Civil War changed none of my ideas, he exclaimed. He also did not want to be considered reactionary, for he considered reaction an attribute of unthinking matter. I simply continue to think. Though the hyena of public opinion demanded he make up his mind.
Is he a Stalinist or a Hitlerite?
I was going to continue to be as always and until I died. Dalinian and only Dalinian, he proclaimed. What is Dalinian, you may ask? Well, in the words of the photographer Felipe Halsman, his surrealist creativity is only partially expressed in his paintings. His own personality is the most surreal of his creations. Suffice it to say, Dalinian is a surrealist of the purest form, real and true, born to be. As I stated earlier, the piece I would like to address is the 3 ages. In this work, we gain a sense of brilliance of Dali. He studied the Renaissance, and if he were to have lived in that time, his brilliance would have been recognized at a far younger age and frankly normalized. Yet he was nothing of the sort. His work is fraught with symbolism and excels in the purposefully odd. This particular work is one where he uses a playfulness between positive and negative space, filling both. The exceptional piece features a wall in which a cutout hole shows a cliff and trees beyond, although in front of that is an object, a hooded figure of a woman on a pedestal who may or may not be churning butter. Either way, she is deep in some kind of work. These forms together form a portrait of an old man. As the wall proceeds to the right of the picture plane, it turns into a rocky cliff that also holds a cutout forming a hole in which we view a body of water with 2 rocky islands in the distance. Each one seems to hold within it structures which, from afar, appear to be eyes. On the ledge inside the hole sits a woman with her young son serenely taking in the view. These shapes take on another portrait if looked at differently. Farther to the right, we glimpse a shoreline. The cliff has broken free from the landscape, and we view figures on the beach. 2 women may also be working themselves, for they seem to be busy concentrating. One in particular is the basis for the infant portrait, which bust sits on a vase-shaped stand. These portraits are purely inferred. The dynamism in this one painting is incredible. In between the adolescent and the old man seems to be a middle-aged man, sitting or crouching with his head in his hands, almost wrought with despair or merely tired, possibly a challenging time in the life of these ages. The scenes may be a mental picture of things he has witnessed in his life. The jagged yet rounded edges of the shapes form a softer feeling than just strife. To me, the overall feeling is peaceful. This mood is enhanced by the soft tans and browns. An illusion of gold color also fills the plane. The 2 portraits on the left sit on top of a rectangular cube, and those seem to be the only definitive shapes, along with a rectangular cubed cutout on the top of the left wall. There is a semblance of time passing, time suspended. infinity, yet mortality. There seems to also be an overall feeling of wonder. The wonder of, what are we missing when we only see through one viewpoint? The huge amount of dynamism depicted is counterbalanced by the feeling of a silent calm. A look at an old man replaying his life while he contently gives up the ghost. We are on the horizon in this piece. There is a central vanishing point midway, top to bottom, and to the right of the center on the picture plane. This vantage point allows us an ultimate view to take in everything. Although one's eyes tend to run, or rather leap frantically around the painting, searching for more hidden treasures, a sense of balance is achieved throughout. This happens through the use of alignment. Three things side by side, yet the same. The same type of opening to view beyond the surface level. Three portraits of possibly the same person. Are these three portraits the same man as is huddled near the cliffside? Is he also the little boy that engages his mother as they watch the beautiful scenery? There is an equal arrangement of the space in between each. This painting, with its many distances, aches of depth. There is not only preliminary depth shown in the overall scenes, though, moreover, the play of the negative and positive space develops depth in the portraits. Beyond that is this depth of being, a sub-element of consciousness being pulled into the unmanifest, to then manifest something more. It expresses a boundless wisdom along with infinite space, while allowing one a limitless amount of curiosity. Infinity is also found in the perception of the viewer being able to take the substance into another context, to observe it as is, and then as what could. Are there really portraits within the content, or is it our finite self exploring perceived time within? Even if we do not know the work was Dali, the title is a telltale sign that portraits were intended. Even so, we are referred to times when, not so obviously, we inferred meaning to objective things or ideas that became subjective to us. That, in itself, is a timeless experience, our infinite selves poking its head out to state, I am here forevermore, within the you perceive to be.